attend a Adobe Connect meeting at Georgia Virtual School, you need to make sure you have taken care of a few tasks first. One of the first tasks you need to take care of is making sure that you have a program called Adobe Flash Player installed. Now, if you don't know how to do that, what you need to do is go to this address. You just type in tinyurl.com/AFPGAVS, and that's a short link, and it will take you to Adobe Flash Player. Now, you can also Google for Adobe Flash Player, and you're going to come to a site that looks like this. And the Adobe Flash Player site, you'll be prompted to download the most recent version of Adobe Flash Player. And if you just want to make sure that this is going to work whenever you go to your synchronous session or your Adobe Connect meeting in your course, it's a good idea. You could do this every time before you go, and it would probably not hurt a thing at all. So just click on download, and you're going to download that. And if it's working for you, you should see an animation that would tell you that Adobe Flash Player is working. Even if you see that working, you might have to install. Now, I'm just going to install this, and the thing you need to know about Adobe Flash Player is when you install it, you need to make sure that your web browsers are turned off, because if you do that, it will install, and it will install properly. So that's the first thing you need to do. The next thing you need to do is make sure that you have completed the Adobe Connect connection test. If you don't know how to get to the Adobe Connect connection test, it's a test that tests your computer to see if it can actually handle an Adobe Connect synchronous session meeting. You need to do that. So this address will take you to that website so that you can test your computer and make sure it's going to do everything it needs to do. You can go to tinyurl.com/ACTGAVS. And if you do, you're going to come to a site that looks like this or similar to it. As a matter of fact, that's the actual link, but I'm just going to click on that, and it should take my computer to the website, and it should begin doing the Adobe Connect connection test. So I can tell that Flash Player is supported on my computer, and it's performing the test. What's happening here is it's going out to the internet to see if my computer is going to be have a fast enough connection to make this meeting worthwhile. Now, you'll notice number 4 here says the Adobe Connect add-in test. Adobe Connect has to have a little program called the Adobe Connect add-in, and if you have Flash Player working and you have a fast connection but you don't install the Adobe Connect add-in, you're not going to really have a very good meeting. Now, it tells me that I have a good speed and that the Adobe Connect add-in test was installed, so I should be good to go. Now, if it told me that I was missing Adobe Connect add-in, it would tell me how to install that and what have you. So you want to do those things before you go to your synchronous session meetings. You want to make sure you have Flash Player. You want to make sure you've performed the Adobe Connect connection test, and you want to make sure that you have the Adobe Connect add-in installed. And one other thing you probably ought to do, because it would really save you a lot of grief, if you can, if you're at home and you're going to one of these synchronous sessions, turn your computer off, leave it off for a second or two or a minute, bring it back up. When you do that, you clear out something called the computer cache. Your computer memorizes things like web pages you've gone to and stuff like that, but that makes your computer really have to juggle a lot of things in its memory. So if you turn the computer off and bring it back up, your computer will be ready to go to a meeting. So that's something you want to make sure you do before you go to any Adobe Connect meeting in your course.